Good afternoon, everyone. It is a great pleasure to open this cultural event. Ramadan Kareem to all the members of the Foreign Ministry and their families. I hope you are doing well despite this challenging time. It is also a great pleasure to welcome you all to this cultural marathon. I think that the ministry is really doing a fantastic work in having these panel discussions so interesting on such an important topic for diplomacy. And today we will be talking about two very important aspects of the UAE diplomacy. On the one hand, culture, which is so crucial, which we see around so many phenomena around us in the media, in normal diplomatic conversation, even when we think of the COVID today, we see how behind science and political issues there is culture. So culture is everywhere, and Latin America, which is part of the emerging world, becoming more important for the UAE. So we have for this discussion two excellent guests. On the one hand, Ambassador Al-Awadi, the UAE ambassador to Chile, and on the other hand, Ambassador Al-Shamsi. Both of them very experienced. Ambassador Al-Awadi started in his career in 1976, and he has had different positions. He started in Spain, in Madrid, but also Bangladesh, Australia, Kenya. And Ambassador Al-Shamsi joined the diplomatic corps in 2007 and has had also different positions in Argentina, also in Spain, and he has been Consul General to Barcelona. He's now about to join his post in Peru. I would like to ask, before we start our conversation, some introductory remarks so that our guests, to whom I thank for being there, can understand better your careers and your view on diplomatic issues and culture.
Thank you, sir. It's our pleasure as well to have you here with us, with a person who had a lot of experience in the diplomatic relations and the movement and the period which you spend as well in a part of the world which is still suffering. And we are proud of your job you did in that period. And we were following you since that time until today. We're still looking forward what happened to this country. So it is our pleasure to have you, sir. And
Thank you.
We are looking forward now to have the session of and talks about the culture diplomatic, which we are diplomacy, which we are proud to have it as a beginning, but we used to have it since long time, since the creation of the United Arab Emirates, and our father founder, he put that seeds for tolerance and culture diplomacy in our country, which is working until now with all our leaderships. So our leaderships are always going with the culture diplomacy, and they are proud of it. And you can see it that we started from the beginning. We used our sources to support the diplomacy, if it is abroad since the beginning or helping other countries as well in the same field. So I don't want to go behind or in front, but the thing is that we have a lot of experience, which I myself saw it through our founder when he started to visit other countries. For instance, 40 years ago, Argentina sent some people from the academic sector to give Sheikh Zayed a PhD. That time, they recognized Sheikh Zayed as a leader in humanity. That time, he welcomed these people from Argentina, Latin America, far, far away, and accepted that doctorate, PhD. And that was the beginning of our relation with Latin America, I think, because it was just 40 years ago. And that was one of the experience which I was a witness there. And the second one is when he was, His Highness Sheikh Zayed was visiting Spain. He was happy to be in that country to see what their people doing, and a special relation which was between the King of Spain and with everyone. I remember one night we've been in the house of the ambassador, and if you remember Felix Rodriguez de la Fuente, he is the great man in the environment and animals. And he sat down with him until 10 o'clock, 10:30, and then suddenly Felix Rodriguez left the house and went. And Sheikh Zayed told me, where is Felix? I said, he already left. He said, please take this cassette and go and give it to him. And it was about the falconing. And he talked to him in a way that how to have the environment clean for the animals. And that was a great period which Sheikh Zayed gave his heart to the animals, to the environment, to the human.
Thank you very much. Ambassador Al-Shamsi, your opportunity for these introductory remarks.
Well, thank you for hosting this session. It's good to see you again. We lectured in 2018 before I started my mission in Barcelona. Discuss the history of Spain, talk more in depth about the Catalonia region. So it was excellent lecture, and I'm happy to see you again. Then His Excellency Ambassador Al-Awadi, we started working together in the ministry in one of the departments in 2008 before I moved to Argentina. So had a great discussion, Excellency, before I left. Thank you both.
Okay, so let us start our conversation. And I would like to start with a question to Ambassador Al-Awadi. Ambassador, we have seen that based on your, in that long history that you have described with Sheikh Zayed visits to Latin America and to Spain. But we are now in a moment in the present time of very intense relations with Latin America. There have been some trips to the region from Sheikh Abdallah. So could you give us some examples of how relations have intensified in the last years and in the present time, and especially in the cultural diplomacy and public diplomacy field?
Yes, I think during the last visit of His Highness Sheikh Abdallah to Latin America, we already completed around 40 years of relation with Chile. So by that time, his visit was very successful, and he go through every items which we are having, and he tried to bring the pioneers, which we are already there in UAE, to have at least an experience in Latin America in different fields. For instance, we discussed about the food security, which is very important for us, and how we can build a very strong relationship in that field. And I already talked as well last week during the talks which we are having with the ministry, with our departments, and we saw about, we've been thinking about what our leadership is saying. Our leadership, Sheikh Mohammed, for instance, bin Rashid, he insists that the coming days and the coming years, we have to invest in medical and equipments and medicines and other things due to the situation which we are passing through now. And we said, okay, also, it's very important for us to have something, the same view for the food security and for the tourism for UAE as well as an industry. We need it after this. These two things we are looking forward that with your help as well can be a title for our movement as a diplomats abroad and in Latin America, because Latin American people now, they know what is UAE, what they can find in UAE. I think we are, for instance, just a small example, Dubai is more passengers transit than New York. So that means our environment there for the people of the tolerance and the culture diplomacy is working very well and in excellent situation. So this is what we are looking forward to have it with your help in future. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ambassador. Ambassador Al-Shamsi, you are about to join your new post as ambassador to Peru. Unfortunately, the current situation with the COVID is preventing it. But you have a long experience as a diplomat and as a consul. And for all these diplomats, especially the young ones who are watching and following this event, could you give us some examples of what in diplomatic life can diplomats organize in around cultural diplomacy? And these examples, I would ask you to take them not only from your diplomatic experience as a diplomat, but also from your consular experience, because consulates have also a very important activity in the cultural field.
Absolutely, Your Excellency. As you mentioned, unfortunately, I was not able to start my mission in Peru because of this crisis. But I'll be talking about some initiatives that I've done in Barcelona during my time there. I'll speak about 3 initiatives I did, and I think the 3 initiatives, they're all about public diplomacy and soft power. So the first initiative is Emirati cinema course in Barcelona. So by the beginning of last year, I got in touch with one of the Emirati film producer, and I explained to him that we would like to have his movies in Catalan Film Foundation, in one of the movie theaters in the foundation. I also explained to him that this is kind of public diplomacy, this is a kind of soft power where we can deliver our message when it comes to culture and tradition. So he was very positive, supportive. He was ready to provide us with the movies. We got in touch with the Catalonia Film Foundation. They were surprised because this was the first time we will be showing an Emirati movie in Barcelona. It took us about 3 months to do the translation to Catalan language, Spanish language, then to choose a day for the movie, for the 3 movies, and then finally in the month of September, we were ready to show the movies. We had a reception. We did not expect to have a lot of audience. Our expectation was about 50 to 60 persons, but we were surprised. We had over 180 persons joining us for the movie, the reception that we did, and also for the seminar. We, during the event, during the reception before the movie, we provided an Emirati food, and to show that this is part of our tradition and culture. And then we started the seminar, and later on we had the movie going. The 3 movies were going for 10 days. Our estimation was a couple of thousand of people attended and saw the movies. The outcomes were excellent. Media coverage was great. And we received call from some local media to have an interview, discuss the Emirati movies played in the Catalonia Film Foundation. The Catalonia Film Foundation contacted us later, and they asked us if we can do this every year. Of course, the producer was happy to hear this. I didn't expect that, but we're lucky to have the director and producer. Of course, his name is Amr Al-Marri. But of course, unfortunately, this year we were not able to do this. So hopefully next year, have more Emirati movie in Barcelona. This is the first initiative. The second initiative was UAE Cultural Day in the Autonomic University of Barcelona. So the purpose of this event is to deepen the knowledge of the student and the academic community of the university. So what we've done is we had a seminar for some of the students. We discussed the UAE tradition, UAE culture. We had an open Arabic book exhibition where we brought some books from the UAE. Some of them were translated to Spanish, some of them were in Arabic because some of the students were learning Arabic. So they had a chance to see these books and read them. We also show one of the movies that we show in the Catalan Film Foundation. It was also used the movie theater of the university to share one of the UAE movies. We also placed a tent in the entrance of the university with an exhibition of photos of the UAE in the past and how is UAE in this present time. They enjoyed the Arabic food, Emirati food, Emirati music, and so on. And this is the second initiative. The last initiative, which is my favorite, because it really touches my heart, and I'll tell you the whole process of this initiative. So the initiative is planting an Emirati Ghafa tree in the heart of the Cathedral of Barcelona. During the month of March, after the visit of Pope Francisco to the UAE, it took me a couple of weeks to think of a unique initiative. And it was just too difficult to find something related to year of tolerance, public diplomacy, soft power, tradition, all mixed together. So one day, I thought probably by looking at the logo of the Year of Tolerance, it is a branch of Ghafa tree. So why wouldn't I bring Ghafa tree from the UAE, from the heart of the UAE, and plant this tree in the heart of Barcelona? I thought of it. I talked with my colleague. I discussed with the staff and the consulate. They were happy with the idea. They liked it, and we got the permissions to have this tree imported from the UAE to Barcelona. Once the tree arrived, of course it took us some time, I started thinking of a place. I didn't have in my mind the Gothic Cathedral of Barcelona. I thought of many places, so I started visiting each one of them. The first place was Sagrada Familia. I visited Sagrada Familia. I saw the Sagrada Familia from inside. I tried to find the garden, but I didn't see a garden where the Ghafa tree can be in a spot in the church. Then I canceled Sagrada Familia, unfortunately, even though it's a beautiful church designed by Gaudi. But then I thought of Parc Güell. I went to Parc Güell and I walked inside, and it didn't really get what I want to have, the Ghafa. It didn't really, touch my heart. So it took me also probably 2 to 3 weeks to leave. One day I left my office where we were, where our office is based next to Plaza Catalonia. I left the office and I was walking, and I see the Cathedral of Barcelona. I saw a lot of people walking around the cathedral, and I thought maybe this can be the perfect place. So I got a ticket. I went inside the church, and I spent half an hour just looking for the ground, for a place to have the tree planted. It was impossible to do it inside. So I gave up and I left from the back door. When I left from the back door, I didn't know there was a garden in the back of the cathedral. So I saw that. I was very surprised. I saw the garden, and I'm like, this is a place. He called my debit and asked him to come over and think if he agree with me or not. We were happy that this garden is going to be possibly the perfect spot for our Ghafa. So the following day, we got in touch with the officials from the cathedral. We explained to them that we have this initiative. They were aware of the visit of Pope Francisco to the UAE. They were very supportive. They liked the idea, and I explained to them, this is something that brought from the heart of the UAE, and the cathedral is the perfect, and it is the heart of Barcelona. It took us about 6 months to do the whole procedure. We chose with them the Day of Tolerance, International Day of Tolerance, the 16th of November, to do the event. It was a perfect match. It was a perfect day for the event, and we plan to do a speech with the cardinal, speech of myself. We had an Arabic poetry from Ibn Arabi, in Arabic, in Spanish, in Catalan. After that, we had some Arabic music with the oud. Then we planted the tree with the cardinal in the garden. It was Saturday morning. We did not expect to see a lot of people because one would come at 11 o'clock in the morning on Saturday. We had over 400 persons. We had a great reception after the event. And you may ask, and also the media coverage was great. We had over 6 media coverage from national, from Barcelona, and then from Spain media. People will ask, what's the purpose of having this Rafa in the cathedral? There are 3 million visitors visit the cathedral. This cathedral is a historic cathedral. It is from the 13th century. A lot of people consider visiting the cathedral from all over the world. The Rafa will live around 200 to 300 years. So if we have 1 million a year, we will have about 2 million visitors will see Rafa during the 200 years, if Rafa lives for that long. And this is part of soft power. This is part of our public diplomacy, and the UAE tolerance.
Excellent examples, and I think especially the third one is a brilliant idea. Ambassador Al-Awadi, I would like to ask you the same question. Some examples of some impactful initiatives in the area of cultural diplomacy, maybe also related to the Year of Tolerance in Chile, as we have just been discussing about the Year of Tolerance in Barcelona and this symbolic cultural event in the cathedral. But I would like to ask both of you, because we have roughly half an hour more to continue the discussion, to try to keep your answers in around 3 minutes so that we can have more issues on this conversation.
Sure, sir. I just have a small comment for our brother Al-Shamsi, that 40 years ago I brought Raf tree from Canarias to UAE. So you should go to Canarias, Fuerteventura, or Canarias Island. He will find the camels, he will find the Raf, and that's something which is always appreciated, that environment in Spain also is being in safe hands. And you can see that in the airport of Canarias, they sell the small tree of gaffs as a gift to everyone. So we have the same culture, and thanks God that we have this together as well. Due to the activities which we had here, I would like to thank my diplomats as well, who are doing, giving a big hand and supporting us as well in these events. We will go to the Year of Zayed, which was very important for us. We decided to go to the villages and try to help them in different sectors. We found a village called Lampa, and there is a very, very poor people who are looking forward to have a house for their children. And the government of Chile, they put some issues for them, if you are going to pay like $2,000 and we can build for you a house. So thanks God, UAE built around 18 houses there. And we went for the events there, and we were with VIPs as well from UAE. And these VIPs as well, they supported through their Al Maktoum, for instance, charity. And we went there, and we went during the function and everything, the year of Zayed, building houses for these poor people. And suddenly there is a lady, old lady, she was like the leader of that village, the speaker, let us say. And after we had the functions and all these things, she came to me and she saw the picture of Sheikh Zayed, rahmatullah alayh. She said, who's this man? I said, this is Sheikh Zayed, our founder of UAE, this one. How he thought about us to come here and send you to do something for us. That time was really great. That times I remember myself that when in the right way, our leadership in the right way, we are doing well, sir. And that was one of the issues which in the year of Zayed. The same year of Zayed, we had a collection of all painters in Chile, in Santiago, around 100. Even the blind people participate in painting about our culture. And if the time will be okay, we can show you an example how Sheikh Zayed, His Highness, was supporting the Arabic horses. You can see it. And this is painted by painters, famous painters in Spain, in Chile. So we divide all these pictures of our horses to every department, every sector, culture, museum, whatever, as a memory. And we put a foundation here as well for the children to learn about the Arabic horses. And that gives them to love a lot of things and to be for the tolerance, to be understood in their schools. And we divide it in schools as well. And we give the pictures of our Arabic houses. The second one was like our brother was talking, His Excellency, the Ghaf. We did pictures by big paintings from all kinds of Ghaf, which we are having. And like 30 pieces of Ghafs in different shapes with a very famous artist here in Chile.
Beautiful.
And she did 2 exhibitions in UAE after that, and we did 1 exhibition. She did it just for Sheikh Zayed's here, which we call it La Naturaleza de Natural, La Francancia de Naturaleza. So that time, everybody was happy to hear that someone was a leader in environment. And as you know, Your Excellency, that Chile and other countries are suffering from environment. So this country and GovHack, when they came here, we did the same subject for Chile with Japan as a sister to see the knowledge between 2 countries, how we can solve this environmental crisis. So this is the second one. The third one, which is this year, which we've been ready to prepare ourselves for Expo. And we did the picture and the sign of Expo with a famous artist as well. So we are giving to everybody as a memorial for memory for every sector from the airport till all sectors that Expo Dubai will be 2020. And we are looking forward that our cultural diplomacy will take a part in Expo 2021. So that's our briefing here. Yeah, thank you.
Beautiful paintings. Congratulations. I think these examples as the one of the GAF in Barcelona Cathedral are fantastic for all those who are watching us and need inspiration. Now I would like to move more from concrete examples to the wider political picture. In Latin America, we have been discussing the connections between the Hispanic world and Sheikh Zayed, and I'm sure because His Excellency Saki Nusseibeh is so close to Sheikh Zayed, there is already an impact in UAE cultural policy coming from this part of the world. However, now I would like to move to the UAE cultural policy and how. Sorry, not to the UAE, to the Latin American cultural policy, and this is a continent with very strong cultural life. There are great examples of music, art, and other cultural expressions which are really very important in their cultural and I would say even the overall identity in Latin America. There are also great examples of Latin American artists who have been diplomats. Neruda, who is such a great personality in Chile, was in the embassy in Madrid as a diplomat. Rubén Darío, who was probably the most important Latin American poet in the 19th century, was also a diplomat. So we have a lot of examples. And my question to you is how do you see the impact of culture in the way Latin America is conducting diplomacy? This is a question for both of you.
Yes, I think which we are having there, for instance, like you mentioned, thanks, what you mentioned just now as well, we are having Senor Parras, if you remember him, he was the Chilean who lived 103 years. He passed away 2 years back. And he was from Nagra, this part of Chile. And he's very, very famous, of course, and famous family. And I think we are preparing as well to do something for him as well, as a great person, as poet, as a physician, as everything. And you can have it. He was a figure, and he lived 103 years, passed away 3 years ago. And we are trying to do something for him in his village in future, when it will be possible for us. So that's one of the things which we are thinking. And about the culture, which we are trying to have it here with the people in Latin America. Excellency, we are trying to do something for the environment. I know that they know salsa, they know other things, dancing, operas, all these things in Argentina, Chile, Latin America. They are fun, full of music and musicians. But we want to have these musicians and the culture people, theater, others, to serve our targets. So that's our plan. And we are trying to have them. And thanks for Dr. Zaki Nasiba that he gave us the opportunity for this marathon and idea. And I already suggested for him that we will have culture cities without homeless. So this will be something very, this will be initiative for UAE to take it, that UAE don't forget anyone, especially in this period. So we are trying to have something in future. We are going to, the president here in Chile already put his initiative toward the homeless, and we are going to have this experience and try to help them in that field, which is very important for us in future.
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Ambassador Al-Shamsi.
We cannot hear him.
No, we cannot hear. Maybe the mic is off.
Is it okay now?
Now it's okay.
Yes.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Sorry about that. So I would like to share my experience and story in Argentina when I moved to Argentina in 2009. First thing I did, I started taking Spanish classes, and I thought if I want to go more in depth, if I want to learn about the art, about the culture, tradition, sport, I must know the language. So I started taking Spanish classes. Then I started to visit places. So I went to the Teatro Colón, for example, the theater, to see a show. I was able to understand, of course, not 100%, but to understand the meaning of the show. I went to see a tango show. I went to.
Did you learn how to dance tango?
Unfortunately, not, because it was just too difficult.
Very fast.
But then I went to the Boca Stadium. I went to see a football match. I wanted to feel the glory of the winning of Boca games. I went to Palermo to see polo match. So I was able to understand more the tradition, the sport, the music, after, of course, learning the language. People from different parts of that region live in Argentina. So I had friends coming from Brazil, from Colombia, from Uruguay. They were students there. At the same time, they appreciate the art of Argentina, the music, the sport. So we used to go together to see a football match, or we go to see a tango show. And this shows what's the soft power, and again the public diplomacy of Argentina through sport, through music, through art.
Thank you. Let me ask you now about a very important connection between culture and economy, which is a great question mark these days, which is tourism. Tourism, and particularly cultural tourism, is a great phenomenon of our times. I think the Louvre, Abu Dhabi, is a great example on how culture can foster tourism. But now there are a lot of question marks about how these crisis is going to affect traveling and how to recover the industry of tourism in the future. So since that industry is so important in countries like Peru and Chile, what's your impression on how these countries are reflecting and how the COVID crisis can impact that sector of the economy?
Yes, sir. I think our airlines, they are covering all Latin America, almost some places here, which is very easy for anyone from Brazil, from Chile, from Colombia to take the connection, even until Mexico, through Barcelona, via Barcelona. They can come and see UAE and continue their trip as well to go to anywhere in the world, in the Far East as well. So I think our airlines playing a big roles towards that. The second thing as well is the Dubai port. They are doing well as well in Latin America. Their initiatives in connecting the world, connecting the economy, is playing a big role in our relation between Latin America. I think we are having a lot of things which we can share together. As Your Excellency mentioned, the Louvre. I think we can also in future bring something from Latin America next to Louvre. Louvre is French, and then we need something from Latin America. Later we have a botanic garden, for instance, to be next year. Who's coming to visit Louvre, they can go as well and see the beautiful trees, birds, all these kind of beautiful Amazon and other places as well. And North Chile, Lima, all these places has been seen in UAE. We are having more than 200 nationalities there. 200 nationalities, they can come every day and watch without even having any problem. It's just a ticket and visit a botanic garden. And of course, if we will have something like music or other things from theater or whatever from Latin America, will be great as well. Thank you.
Yes, Ambassador Al-Shamsi.
Your Excellency, I would go first back to Spain, and then I'll talk about Peru. Spain, as you are aware of, is the second country to receive tourists. I think last year it was almost 90 million tourists. This sector in Spain is very solid. I know we're going through a difficult time now, but hopefully in the future we will go over this crisis and tourism will go back, will be even better than before. The tourist sector represents 14% of the total GDP of Spain. If we look at Peru, Peru receives about 4 million tourists a year. 10% of its total GDP comes from tourism. We have, to Spain, we have 4 direct flights, 3 through Emirates, and 1 through Etihad. And I'm talking only about Barcelona. Through Emirates Airline, we do connect the West region, Latin America region, to the East through our airlines, both Emirates. Spain will always be the favorite hub of the UAE airlines, and I'm sure after the crisis it will be even much better. Talking about art during this time, during this crisis, I think what we can do is we can do a digital museum where fine artists, Emirati or Spanish or Peruvian or Chilean, they can do the digital museum where it is provided online for everyone to see the work of each artist. And I know some of the Emirati artists, they've done this already, and it is a very unique idea. And I hope it can be considered worldwide.
Thank you very much. There is a reflection that many of my Latin American friends do often, which is that it is a region that it is a bit isolated. Latin Americans, maybe because they live in such a rich and countries with a very high quality of life, they are not seeking too much the contact with others. However, this is changing, and they have shown the capacity to organize big events in recently, and we have seen in Brazil, for instance, the Olympic Games, the World Cup. So the continent is showing now that it's more interested in opening to the rest of the world. How do you see the impact of these big events in Chile and Peru, or in other cases in Latin America?
I think, Your Excellency, for the future here, I think Latin America is passing in a very bad period for coming years, which is the poverty will be today, the numbers today just came out, 30% of the region will be down to the poor. So this is one. Chile will reach to 13 or 14% of the poor. So I think this will affect a little bit for the tourism, which is going out from Latin America to other places. But still, we are having a lot of other things, which is cargo business and other culture that our people could come and visit the beautiful Latin America. Let us say we have for instance, in Chile, south of Chile is very beautiful, Peru is very beautiful, Mexico, a lot of heritage. All these places are beautiful. So I think our people, when they are coming here as well, to spend their holidays as well, it will be a big connections for us. And it depends, Your Excellency, on you as well as Diplomatic Academy to cooperate with us to send some of these people and some academics as well there. When they are coming back, they will write about our country, and then the people will encourage to be coming there as well. These people, if it is from the high schools, they will be leading the country in different sectors in future. So this is what we are looking forward. And like the French people, or what they are saying, that give me culture, I'll give you better diplomatic relation, give you more tourism, give you more activities. So this is what we need in future of your academy as well, to give more culture diplomacy to the students there, so they will go to any part of Latin America or wherever in the world and work on the diplomacy of the culture diplomacy there. So that will be helping us as well a lot. Thanks.
If you may allow me, Your Excellency, I think it is our duty as ambassador to deliver the right message for the people of Peru, or people of Argentina, or any country of that region. As I mentioned previously, our initiatives, the three initiatives that we've done in Barcelona, I think if we do the same in every country, if I do that in Peru, I think I'll educate people more about the UAE tradition, about the UAE culture, and I think people will be as excited as the people were excited in Barcelona. This is our duty, and I think we have to do a lot of work to deliver the right message for the country, or the people of the country where we work.
Thank you very much. It's been a fascinating conversation, but I am afraid we are getting close to the time, and we have to finish really on time in 5 minutes. So I would like to ask both of you some closing remarks. What are the takeaways that you would like for the people who are watching us to take from the point of view of diplomacy and the importance of culture in diplomacy, and from the point of view of the importance of Latin America in UAE diplomacy?
Yeah, I think, sir, that UAE is a brand for tourism in everywhere. I think nowadays, as soon as you mention UAE, everybody, oh, what a wonderful country, what a beautiful country. And I think that recently we've been to the Al-Watan Palace, which shows how UAE is working hard for the tourism in the future as well. And of course, Louvre and other activities which we are having, the heritage of UAE people. Just one thing about the culture diplomacy, I want to ask anyone as well, just UAE, we had a ministerial meeting between 1,600 publishers and 1.5 million address of the books, and this meeting happened in UAE, never else in the world. You cannot see such a meeting with His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid among this kind of culture and knowledge and other things. So we have to work what we have to market it. This is very important for us. We have it. We have the knowledge in Masdar City. That's very important for us. We are having, like our brother mentioned before, that the translation. We have the Institute of Emirates for Strategic Issues, which we are having there. We have to cooperate as a diplomatic, diplomatic academy in UAE, in the ministry, with these sectors. So these kind of things, I think we are having it. And I think our leadership is giving us a lot of opportunities to go ahead and tell the world where we are in the culture diplomacy. I think we are doing well. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Ambassador Al-Shamsi, 1 minute.
Yeah. Again, it is our duty to do all of that. It is our duty to reach the heart and mind of the people there. Hopefully, we'll be able to do that. I believe I've done that in Barcelona. Hopefully, I'll be able to do that in Peru. And that's all.
Thank you very much. I think it's been a fascinating conversation, a lot of good ideas and examples for our viewers, especially the young diplomats. Thank you also to His Excellency Sakin Useibi and the Benshebib brothers for this great idea of the Cultural Marathon. And congratulations on your great task. Good luck in the future, especially in Peru in this new mission. And thank you to all who have been watching us this morning. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, sir. Thanks.